Olá a todos! Today we are going to talk about one of my favorite language learning strategies and show you how it's a fun way to learn vocabulary. I have been teaching Portuguese for over 11 years, and the truth is, learning and memorizing words in a new language is a challenge for most students. Today, I will be covering in detail the importance of studying opposites, opostos in Portuguese, also known as antonyms, antonyms. Knowing these words will help you express yourself better and more clearly. If you enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe and check out my Patreon page. One of my perks is that patrons get to watch these videos before they are published on YouTube. E agora, vamos começar! The amazing thing about studying opposites is that you can easily practice them and therefore memorize them. It's very common for students to know a word and get stuck in a conversation because they don't remember the opposite. The list of opposites in a language is huge. I suggest you start with a small list. Make sure you are comfortable with those words before you start adding new ones. The list I have for today is a good selection that you should know for an A2 level student. You can divide your opposites into categories: nouns, nomes, adjectives, adjetivos, adverbs, advérbios, and of course, verbs, verbos. Let's start with nouns. In this case, take advantage and also memorize the gender of the noun using the right definite article. O homem, a mulher. O cão, a cadela. O filho, a filha. O avô, a avó. O dia, a noite. O sal, a pimenta. Now let's take a look at adjectives. Remember that when using these, you have to agree them in gender and number with the noun they are referring to. Grande, pequeno, bonito, feio, baixo, alto, aberto, fechado, seco, molhado, leve, pesado, novo, velho, feliz, triste, lento, rápido, fácil, difícil, frio, quente, doce, amargo, limpo, sujo, caro, barato, longe, perto, bom, mau, primeiro, último. Now let's take a look at some adverbs. Dentro, fora, em cima, embaixo, atrás, à frente, bem, mal, antes, depois, sempre, nunca. Last but not the least, let's take a look at the verb list. Acordar, adormecer. Adorar, odiar. Entrar, sair. Abrir, fechar. Comprar, vender. Levantar-se, deitar-se. Perguntar, responder. Começar, acabar. Partir, chegar. Ligar, desligar. Dar, receber. Levar, trazer. An easy way to study opposites is through flashcards. I am a big fan of old traditional flashcards, written since it is proven that handwriting helps more with memorization than typing. But if you prefer to study on your computer, Quizlet is a great website to create digital flashcards. If you are studying from scratch, this is what I recommend. First, write the words in Portuguese, one on each side, in big letters. Write the translation in small letters. Try to connect the meanings between both languages. Second, write new cards, now without the translation. Hold cards on one side and say out loud the opposite. Third, write cards in your language, and without any reference to the Portuguese, say the words out loud. Identify which sets of opposites you know and set aside the ones you need to work on and start over with those. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave me a like and a comment. What are your vocabulary learning strategies? Até a próxima! The amazing thing about studying opposites is that you can easily practice them and therefore memorize them.